Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. I beg to move that this House has considered government support for grassroots cricket clubs. There is something quintessentially English about amateur cricket. The thud of the bat on ball, the awkward silence after a catch goes down. I know, I've been there. The beer mats hanging out of trouser pockets as players hope to dry the ball on another soggy May afternoon. But most importantly of all, 2.5 million of us played the game this summer, and it is a force for good in so many ways. I want to reflect today on why grassroots cricket is so important to our communities, why it needs to be nurtured and invested in, and to ask the Minister some questions about how the government can work with clubs, schools, and the game's governing body to ensure our great game thrives and is open to all. Cricket has always been a big part of my life, and I'm purposely wearing the tie today of my boyhood club, Bishop Stortford Cricket Club, where I first rocked up as a 6-year-old. I've played for a few clubs in my time, and the excellent Play Cricket website, now used by clubs across the country, will tell you that I've batted 193 times and scored 3,854 runs in club cricket. Now, as this is a 90-minute debate, we've got plenty of time. No, don't worry, Mr. Chair. I was sorely tempted, but as I intend to stay in your good books, I will resist the temptation to talk any more about my career. I do, though, very happily.
Very grateful for my honourable friend for giving way, and it was a great privilege to serve under his captaincy this summer for the Lords and Commons cricket team in our valiant defeat against the MCC. I note, Mr. Chair, that despite that valiant defeat, neither the honourable member or myself have received our call-up from Brendan McCullum or Ben Stokes in Adelaide. But Epping Forest, my constituency, is home to some wonderful clubs. Epping, Thaden Boys, Loughton, Buckhurst Hill, Roding Valley, High Beach. These are the beating heart of our communities. Does my honourable friend agree with me that the government should do all it can to support these fantastic institutions that offer so many opportunities to people young and old?
Before the honourable gentleman begins to continue his speech, can I just remind members that interventions are meant to be very short? Thank you.
Of course. I hope we make an exception for a teammate. Look, thank you for his intervention. These are clubs, some of which I've played it actually, that do so much for his community. I know that's true for so many members who are going to take part in this debate today. As for future call-ups, well, there's still 3 test matches to go. But I do want to say thank you to Welwyn Garden City Cricket Club in my constituency. This August, I played a small part in helping to organise a charity tournament to raise money for 2 brain tumour charities. The driving force behind the day was Connor Emerton, the club captain, whose brother Shay was diagnosed with a brain tumour aged just 24. Shay and Connor both played on the day, and £10,000 was raised for brain tumour charities. It epitomised the best of a grassroots cricket club, a community coming together, enjoying an English summer's day and raising money for an exceptionally important cause. Mr. Chair, grassroots cricket is in good shape. 2.5 million people played the game in some form last year. There were 216,000 fixtures recorded across England and Wales, and that's the first time that the amateur game has surpassed the 200,000 mark in a single calendar year. Happily.
For having this really important debate. As chair of the Cooperative Party in Parliament, we believe that community ownership and local control really matter. Does my honourable friend agree that stronger protections for grassroots cricket like Harborne Cricket Club in my constituency and greater support for communities to safeguard and run their own facilities are essential if we're serious about this as a community support?
Thank my honourable friend for her intervention, and I agree very strongly. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what protections we can offer clubs that exist today, and also have a conversation, I hope, in this debate about what more we can do to build and establish the clubs of the future as well. Cricket clubs set a new record for participation in the ECB's youth programmes, All Stars and Dynamos, this year, with over 105,000 children signing up, and that included a record number of girls taking up the game. And in fact, just short of 3,000 girls' teams played fixtures this summer, another double-digit percentage increase on the previous year. Happily.
I thank the honourable member for giving way. He makes a really good point about the growing diversity in cricket. In my constituency, we have Challow and Childry Cricket Club, but also at Didcot Cricket Club, there's a junior division, one of Oxfordshire's largest disability cricket associations, and a women and girls division, and it's a very diverse club. Does he agree with me that cricket and community sport in general has the real potential to bring communities closer together and therefore needs more central government support?
Andrew Lewin.
I couldn't agree more on the power of cricket bringing communities together, and I'm pleased to hear that you've got such a thriving club in your community. But in all good teams, complacency is not an option. We're in a good place, but when we reflect on grassroots participation in our game and who has access to it, we need to question whether facilities are always truly open to all. It is the case that many of the best cricket facilities in the country are located at private schools. Now, this is not a new phenomenon, and there are some really good examples of these facilities being opened up and shared with a much wider community. King Edward's School in Birmingham has been highlighted to me as an exemplar, with a decades-long relationship with Warwickshire County Cricket Club, making its pitches and indoor facilities available all the year round. But unfortunately, it's not always the case. I'd be grateful if the Minister could say a little bit more about what her department is doing to build on examples of best practice and to encourage more private schools to open up their facilities to the whole of the community. Now, high-quality pitches and outfields are always going to be core to our game. They're an essential tenet of it. But ours is a sport that is evolving fast as well. And I was delighted to see our government make its commitment to the first 2 cricket domes in Luton and Lancashire earlier this year, which will provide a unique opportunity for the game to be played all year round. And I'd value hearing more from the Minister on the plans of the government to accelerate and hopefully expand on the rollout of these domes, with a particular eye.
Indoor cricket, which in somewhere like Cumbria is particularly vital because our weather perhaps requires slightly more cover-ups than cover drives. But I recently learnt that Cumbria Cricket, through the Super 1 sessions, is now offering table cricket to young disabled people in a number of schools like James Rennie and Central Academy in my constituency. Does my honourable friend agree with me that the funding from the Lord's Taverners, which is making that possible, is absolutely vital for ensuring that the game of cricket is inclusive at a grassroots level?
I do, and her constituency has a proud cricketing history, and I know a little bit about the work of the Lord's Taverners, and they are an inspiring organisation helping young people with disabilities and additional needs to thrive and enjoy our great game. So with respect to domes, I think it's so important that we could have a particular eye on urban centres, where there is so much passion for our game, but there are far fewer opportunities for people to take part. Mr. Chair, we also need to plan today for the facilities of tomorrow. I'm a supporter of the government's planning reforms and believe we need a collective focus on building homes and communities that stand the test of time. Sports facilities, cricket pavilions and pitches are part of what distinguishes a community from a simple housing development. Sports England has been a statutory consultee in the planning process since 1997. In the 18 years prior to Sports England being given this status, 10,000 sports pitches were sold off. Since 1997, when they were given that status, the number fell to fewer than 600. We need a planning system that values sporting facilities, not simply to preserve, but to recognise that our most successful places often have a sports club at their core. And that as the NHS rightly shifts its focus from sickness to prevention, the public health benefits of getting this right today will also be felt for decades to come. I appreciate that much of the decision-making power here lies in the remit of the Department for Housing and Local Government, but I'd be grateful if the Minister could say a little bit about the representations she is making to ensure that protecting existing sports facilities and building them for the future is part of live conversations on planning reform. Mr. Chair, the biggest and best change to happen in cricket since I was playing as a kid is not baseball. Sorry, Brendan. It is the growth of the game for girls, women and people with disabilities. I've also had the privilege to visit a Super Ones cricket programme at Chancellor's School in Brookman's Park in my constituency, and it was one of the most uplifting days of doing this job. Seeing young people with disabilities and additional needs come together in the simple joy of playing a game of cricket. Hatfield Hyde Cricket Club in my constituency is another of the leading clubs in Hertfordshire for disability cricket, and my visit for next season is already booked in. The growth of the women's game has the potential to reach new heights next year as we host the Women's World T20. I hear ticket sales are going well, and I can say with certainty that they will be drastically more affordable than a certain event happening in the USA at the same time. So can I also invite the Minister to let us know what plans she has to capitalise on England hosting the World Cup next summer, so it lives long in the memory, not just as a tournament, but as a catalyst for further growth of our game. Grassroots cricket is in good health. The top order have built a good foundation and there's much to be optimistic about. But in cricket parlance, you only have to add 2 wickets to the scorecard and things start to look a little bit more vulnerable. Now is not the time for overconfidence or any rash shots outside off stump. And that's as true for our long-term stewardship of the game here as it is for England in Adelaide over the next 5 days. I look forward to hearing from the Minister about how she plans to play it from here to make sure grassroots cricket keeps growing, is open to all, and can be a success story in constituencies all across the country.